All right, let's talk about one of the most intense, haunting, and honestly controversial novels you'll ever read. Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights. This is a story that's all about passionate love, absolutely brutal revenge, and just the wildest, most untamed forces of both nature and human emotion. So, you gotta ask, what is it that makes this book so powerful, even today? Well, we're gonna unravel this incredibly tangled story of two families who are just locked in this vicious cycle of love and hate. And it goes on for generations. And it all kicks off with a really mysterious and frankly unsettling visit. See, the weird thing is, the novel doesn't even start with the main love story. Nope. Instead, it throws us right in with a total stranger who just stumbles into this world he absolutely does not understand. A world that feels like it's completely haunted by its own past. So, our way into this whole mess is through a guy named Lockwood. He's renting a place nearby and decides, he'll pay a visit to his landlord, the super mysterious and brooding Heathcliff. Right away, the vibe at this house, Wuthering Heights, is just hostile and bizarre. Lockwood has no idea what to make of this incredibly dysfunctional group of people living there. So he gets stuck there for the night, and he has this absolutely terrifying nightmare. He dreams a ghostly child who calls herself Catherine Linton is outside clawing at the window, begging to be let in. But it's Lockwood's reaction that is truly shocking. He isn't just scared, he gets violent. I mean, really violent. This brutal, gothic moment, it sets the tone for the entire book. Right away, you know this is not going to be a gentle story. Okay, to really get a handle on the dark history that Lockwood has just walked into, you need to understand the two central places and the two families at the very heart of the story, because they represent two completely opposite ways of life. On one side, you've got Wuthering Heights. Just picture it, a rugged, stormy farmhouse that basically symbolizes raw, primal emotion. And then, on the other side, you have Thrushcross Grange. This is the home of the wealthy Lintons, and it represents everything refined, civil, and, well, social status. The entire novel is really a war between these two forces, and not just as places, but as big ideas. Wild nature versus rigid society. And right in the middle of this war are three key people. First, there's Catherine Earnshaw, the wild, fiery daughter from Wuthering Heights. Then there's Heathcliff, this mysterious orphan her father just brings home one day, and he becomes her other half, her soulmate. And then you have Edgar Linton, the gentle, wealthy guy from Thrushcross Grange. And their lives, they get tragically, completely tangled up together. This line right here, it just perfectly captures the connection between Catherine and Heathcliff. It is so much more than just love, it's this deep, almost supernatural thing. She literally feels like they are made of the same stuff, that they're the same person. You have to remember, this was revolutionary for its time. It goes way beyond simple romance and dives into this destructive, almost spiritual codependency. But, and this is a huge but, this soul-deep connection gets absolutely shattered by a single devastating choice. A choice that's all about social ambition, and it's this one moment that kicks off a decades-long quest for revenge. And here it is. This is the choice. Even with that incredible connection, Catherine says she can't marry Heathcliff because her brother has basically turned him into a common servant. So she chooses social status over what her own soul is screaming for. And the most tragic part? Heathcliff overhears her saying this, but he only hears this one part. Completely heartbroken, feeling betrayed, Heathcliff just vanishes. He's gone. He never hears her go on to say that she loves him more than anything in the world. So a totally shattered Catherine, thinking he's gone for good, just goes through with it. She marries the calm, stable Edgar Linton and moves to Thrushcross Grange. Then 3 years go by, and Heathcliff comes back. But he is a changed man. On the outside, he's now wealthy, he's sophisticated, a real gentleman. But underneath all that, he is still driven by that exact same wild ferocity. And now he has one single, all-consuming goal: to get revenge and destroy the two families he blames for everything. And his revenge is, wow, it's cold, it's calculated, and it stretches across generations. He goes about it systematically. He ruins Catherine's brother, Hindley, getting him hooked on gambling and drinking, and eventually he takes over Wuthering Heights itself. Then he cruelly marries Edgar Linton's sister, Isabella, just to hurt Edgar. And in this perfect, terrible, full-circle moment of revenge, he takes Hindley's son, Hareton, and degrades him into the same uneducated servant that he was forced to be. all this stress, all this conflict, it ultimately destroys Catherine. She gets terribly sick, and in one last, incredibly passionate meeting before she dies, Heathcliff says this devastating line to her. It just goes to show that even with all his revenge, their fates are completely inseparable. When she broke her own heart, she broke his too. It was mutual destruction. But believe it or not, the story doesn't end there. The whole battle between Wuthering Heights and Thrushcross Grange, it just keeps going, right on through to their children. Which brings up the big question. Can the next generation possibly escape this awful, destructive legacy? And this second generation is just a fascinating echo of the first, isn't it? You've got Catherine's daughter, also named Kathy, who has her mom's fiery spirit but her dad's gentleness. Then there's Hareton, the boy Heathcliff degraded, who seems rough on the outside but is actually noble-hearted. And then there's Heathcliff's own son, Linton, who is just weak, whiny, and cruel. Oh, and Heathcliff is not done with his revenge. Not by a long shot. He manipulates and actually forces a marriage between young Kathy and his sickly son Linton. And what's his goal? It's simple, to legally get his hands on Thrushcross Grange. That would complete his total conquest of both families and everything they own. So, at this point, it really seems like the cycle of hate is just doomed to repeat itself forever. But then, something starts to shift. After the miserable Linton dies, this really unlikely bond starts to form between Kathy and Hareton. She manages to look past his rough exterior, and in this just incredible act of kindness, she starts teaching him how to read. This is the moment. This is the crucial turning point where education and compassion finally start to unravel Heathcliff's whole legacy of hate. And this new connection, this thing between Kathy and Hareton, it offers a way out, a path to resolution. It's a real chance to finally break that cycle of hate and bring some kind of peace to these two warring houses. What's so amazing is that the love between Kathy and Hareton kind of creates this perfect mix of the two worlds. It has all the wild, passionate, elemental connection of Heathcliff and the first Catherine, but it's balanced with the gentleness and civilizing kindness of Edgar. It's a love that's both wild and kind, and it's what finally breaks that destructive pattern. Now, watching this new love story unfold has a really profound effect on Heathcliff. He looks at Hareton and Kathy, and he sees a reflection of his own lost love, right? An echo of what he and Catherine could have been. And seeing it, it doesn't make him angry anymore. It just exhausts him. His whole lifelong mission for revenge just dissolved. With his whole purpose in life just gone, Heathcliff basically wastes away. He's haunted, totally obsessed with seeing Catherine's ghost. He dies, and he's buried right next to her, which is all he ever wanted. So in death, these two wild souls are finally and peacefully together again on the moors that they loved so much. And all of that leaves us with the novel's great, big, unanswered question. Heathcliff. He's a character of such immense passion, but also of such immense cruelty. So what is he? Is he a tragic romantic hero who was just twisted by heartbreak and injustice? Or was he simply a monster? The fact that the book refuses to give us an easy answer, well, that's a huge part of why it's still so powerful today. It's that moral gray area that would go on to influence literature for generations.